Greetings, I'm Doc V. Today we're going to talk about relationships and the mountain. Relationships and the mountain. Relationships, what I'm talking about is the relationship between a man and a woman. The proper relationships can put two people together and cause them to obtain great financial heights, great prosperity, great accomplishments. On the other hand, the improper relationship, two people that should not be together, can tear both people down and put them in a bad state. You have several different factors and several different categories when we talk about relationships. Let's first talk about the youth. The youth are influenced by the media. Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. Some of our entertainers, when the youth see an expression of love or an expression of desire between a man and a woman, if it's a positive expression, the youth, they absorb it. If it's a negative expression, if it is a negative expression, the youth absorb it. Our youth are exposed to so much in the media, and it influences their understanding or realization of what is normal when it comes to a proper, wholesome relationship between a man and a woman. Many of us in the Black community are on the second round. We've gone through a divorce and we're trying to figure out who is going to be the best match for us, be it man looking for a woman or a woman looking for a man. There's several factors that are going to be in there with divorced people. Emotional scars. The children. What age are the children? Are the children well raised and well kept? Are the kids an accent or a positive addition to the possible or potential union, or are the kids providing or causing something negative because they're against the relationship, or they're just added weight that's not positive weight? Meaning, for example, someone might have children that they're in legal problems. They might have children who have a learning deficiency or medical deficiency, and that adult or that potential mate has to care for them. That's a factor that can influence the possibility of that particular relationship. There is a difference between Christian relationships or couples that want to honor God and fear God and want to please God. There is a difference between that type of foundation than a relationship where someone's values or goals are about what they can get from the other person, be it finances or intimacy or notoriety or social economic status. Some people marry for security. I can think of several instances where there was a marriage, and this marriage was based not on love and devotion, but it was based on security. I have a story. A friend of mine shared with me. I was talking with him about a potential relationship that I was not deeply in, but there was someone that I was interested in, and she was interested in me. And I shared with a friend of mine about this relationship. And I told him that everything lined up on paper. On paper, we just lined up. We both loved the Lord. We both had an interest in music. We both liked to work out and stay in shape. We both enjoyed travel. We both enjoyed having family get-togethers, and we just seemed to flow. But for some reason, I wasn't feeling that. You know that thing you feel where you like, when you see a potential companion and you just have to call on the Lord, like, good Lord, my. That wasn't there. But I said, you know what? People get married off of emotions. They get married and choose their mates off of desires. And I remember a pastor several years ago, he used to talk about that. And he used to talk about how young people were talking about getting in a relationship, and all they're focusing on was the honeymoon. That's the only thing they were focusing on. And his comment, I'll never forget, he said, what about the other 22 hours in the day? And I said, isn't that something? Isn't that a thought? What about the other 22 hours in the day? And do you love this person? If this person gains weight or gets sick or loses a limb, would you stay with that person? This is all interesting. But anyway, getting back to the story, a friend told me that he went up to this brother of his, and him and his wife were married. They both had houses and land. They both had real estate property. They both had jobs paying up multiple six figures. They were both dynamic in the church. And he went up to him and said, man, you got it going on. You just got it going on. And the brother said, man, I need to talk to you. I'm miserable. I need help. Pray for me. And he's like, what? What are you miserable about? This is what was going on. Everybody on the outside saw this couple, and they just saw them together, and they just said, this is just a wonderful couple. But on the inside, the man did not really love and cherish and adore his wife. He kind of got swept in because they were putting their finances together, and she was kind of pursuing him, I guess, and just making everything just available to him. And he felt, well, this is going so well, let me get into this thing. After the smoke cleared, after they got together, he realized something was wrong. And he confided in a third party, which is a friend of mine, and he told him that he was noticing other women in the church, some women at work, and other women that made him feel, wow, whoa, did I mess up? Because he wasn't feeling that. He wasn't feeling that way for his wife. And I said, wow. I said, why are you telling me this, man? Why are you telling me this? And he said, because if you're really not feeling this thing, and I believe God works through circumstances, and he works also through your soul and the feelings of your heart and your passions. He said, if it's not there, you better keep walking. You better keep moving, because it's supposed to be until death do you part, for richer or poorer through sickness and through health. If you're not feeling that about this person, and that seems to be a miserable thought to you, you better get to stepping and you better get to running away from that. And I thought about what he said, and it was very impacting. And to make a long story short, I moved away from that. There's so many dynamics that constitute a proper relationship. Some people say, well, you got to get to know them. You got to date for at least 2 years, get through all the seasons. And there have been people that have dated for 5, 6 years, got married, and it did not work. And on the other hand, there have been people that have dated for a year or even 6 months, and they got together, and 30, 40 years later, they're still married. So what is the answer? What is the formula? No, I do not have the answer for you, not on this forum. But I do want to say that the counsel of your loved ones, your parents, your mother and father, if you are a young 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old, and you come from a strong, loving, God-fearing family, and you're a young man and you bring a woman home, or you're a young woman and you bring a man home for your parents to meet. And your parents, how you doing? They're being nice and cordial, but the wisdom of a mother and the wisdom and experience of a father can cut through any kind of facade, any kind of suit, any kind of good smelling perfume or cologne, and they can read that brother and they can read that sister. The problem is, a lot of times the kids, they do not want to listen to what their parents have to say. The most powerful counsel you can get is from a loving, caring parent if you're young. Now, when you're older and maybe your parents have gone on to be with the Lord, then other things need to take hold, like your past experiences, mistakes that you've made in the past, and you run into that same shaped door that you went through 3, 4, or decades ago, and you're like, whoa, let me check this thing out. Let me look at this thing. See, when you're young, you can get pulled in by all the fanfare. Oh, he looks good. He's on the sports team. He's in college. He's nice. And or a man looking at a woman saying, oh, well, look at her. She's put together. I'm going to marry her. You don't know anything about them. You don't know their temperament. You don't know what they were exposed to as a child. You don't know what kind of family dynamic that they were accustomed to growing up. And it takes time to observe that. And it takes time to be able to properly assess that. When you're young, you have no assessment skills. You need to bring them to your father or to your mother and let them read. Beep, 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 beep. You might not like the answer, but that is a powerful indicator of if you're heading in the right direction or not. And again, once you're older, your parents might be going to be with the Lord, or they just really don't have any input. You've been independent and out of the house for 10, 20, 30 years. Then it's going to be wisdom and experience. If a man or a woman has children by different fathers, or if a man or woman has a legal dash in their background, in their record, a criminal record, or if they have health issues, these are things that need to be looked at. These are things that need to be gathered together and discussed. Or you will end up in another statistic. You will end up divorced. And you will end up hurting yourself or hurting someone else because you did not properly count the cost. I come from a family, a loving family, was raised up in the church, and my parents when they were married were, I think, 17 and 19. I'm pretty sure 17 and 19. I know my dad had me when he was 21, and I'm not the oldest. So back in the day, when there was a pregnancy or when there was a young couple wanting to get together, the parents gathered around and they, okay, what we're going to do, young people, what we're going to do, and my parents got together. Nowadays, people are hopping around. They're changing up mates like they're changing tennis shoes and jeans. And I don't believe that this was God's plan for this to happen this way. I remember talking to a friend at work, and we were talking about relationships, and he was saying, man, you got it going on. You're doing all right. You got your place. You know, you're working. You got your business going. What you want to get married for? You just need to keep free and just, you know, you want a little something, you just go over here. You want a little something over here, you just go over there. And just don't move anybody in the house. Just play it, man. Play that. Play it. And I rose up and I said, I wasn't raised like that. I said, I was taught morality. And I was taught that there was a plan, there was God's plan concerning relationships. And this plan did not involve hopping around and jumping around. But this involved keeping yourself until God blessed you with the proper person and the proper release under covenant that was designed by God. When I told him that, he was like, man, you brainwashed. They got you brainwashed, man. Please. Are you kidding me? That church got you brainwashed. And I said this to him. I said that there's a lot of people who talk about being brainwashed, talk about they're going to be free, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And sometimes I wonder, are health issues, male health issues, female health issues, which I could name, and you all know what I'm talking about, that affect your ability to be in a balanced, proper relationship with someone of the opposite sex? Are these problems due to how you conducted yourselves, how you carried yourself in relationships with others? Did you value their heart and their walk with the Lord? Did you try to protect them, or did you just try to use them? You reap what you sow. That's in the Word of God. Some people call it karma, but the Bible calls it whatever you sow, if you reap is also. Or you reap what you sow. Or you're going to have to pay that cost to be the boss. You're going to have to be held accountable for that war on the shore. You're going to have to take your checkbook out and maybe pay for that rumble in the jungle. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You think God just sits up there? Some people think God just sits up there and you just kind of live and do your life and do your thing. And, you know, there are principalities and powers that we battle with. There are decisions that we make that affect the rest of our lives. One of the most important decisions that you will make in your life is who you will join in covenant relationship with. The most important decision. Some people get it right the first time. Some people, they got to try it a couple times before they get it right. Wise counsel, prayer, and life's experience. Discernment. God gives us spiritual discernment. We all have it. A lot of us ignore it. Several times in the past, I get an inkling about something like, something about this, I don't know. But on paper it looks so good, or physically she would look so good. I said, let me go on and see what's going on here. And life messed up, devastated. That discernment told me from the beginning, I don't know, buddy. I don't know. Something wrong here. And we ignore it. If you're honest with yourself, you know whether it's a business transaction, it's a relationship, it's a deal you're getting ready to make. You can feel something telling you, let that go. And when you disobey the discernment that's trying to cover you and pull you into safety, you're uneasy about it. But when you follow and obey that discernment, there is an ease and a comfort and a peace about it. So, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or the Black Mountain, as we ascend from physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, and self-esteem. And during this climb, you decide to join your spirits and your mind and body with another individual in a proper relationship. Know that who you choose could make a world of a difference. I'm Doc V, and I'm going to see you next time.